So firstly, I'm going to introduce myself and say a couple of words about our organizers, about our partners, and about ecosystem as such. My name is Katya. I'm an MMS student, Master of Management student at Duke University, Fuqua School of Business. You can see it on my t-shirt. I also organize this beautiful event together with Sergey and Lev, Sergey is Duke MBA alum. Lev also studies with me on MMS, so we are this Duke community, and we are also happy to introduce our organizers.
Yeah, thank you. But before we jump into the presenting judges and organizers, I think it's important for all the participants, for jury and the startups to mention the book of Harvey, Define Future of Finance. This is very important for you if you're pitching and haven't read this book. So do read it after the pitches. Today we had some meetings with VCs who were mentioning to startups this book, and if you are in the space and haven't read the book, guess what? Your chances to get financing are slimmering and not going to zero, but significantly reduced. If you read it, you'll be able to prepare for the pitch at your best and answer all the questions. So super recommending this book after the pitch when you go to the other funding rounds. Back to you, Katya.
Thank you so much, Sergey. So now we are ready to introduce our organizers. We are very grateful for Gain Ventures and Startup Network that they made this event possible. They are the Angel Network community, Angel. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit nervous, so one more time again. Gain Ventures and Startup Network, who made this event possible. They are Angel Network community and startup community that are actually really relevant to what we are doing now. To our partners, we are very helpful, grateful for the help of our partners, which are Rich Ads, the marketing society that helps to promote FinTech startups, and our beautiful Duke community, Duke FinTech Club and Duke Blockchain Club. And we are also Team Fuqua, we are very grateful for them that they also helped us to reach more startups, reach the new network for us to promote FinTech. And a couple of words about ecosystem, right? We are just one of the elements of the ecosystem as such. But what is really important is that we make this disruption possible, right? Being a startup is not easy, definitely. And we are here to help you startups gain the access to funding, and what is even more important, to share your opinion on what is going on in the FinTech field, how to disrupt it, and gain some insights from our beautiful judges who are really authoritative in the field and will make you do your startups better. So we are on the stage of unicorn battle, right? So we already, if you look at our purchase funnel, it starts with unicorn events, so on the very local level, then to unicorn pitches, and now we are in unicorn battle. Why it is important to you? Actually, because if you win this unicorn battle, you will have a possibility to compete for Unicorn Cup on the global level. And gain access also to the funding, which is really important for your further development. And now we are ready to move to judges, and want to give them some time to introduce themselves, starting from Campbell Harvey, whom we are very grateful for his participation.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's I'm looking forward to the evaluation. I just went through 37 different pitches in my course. My students had 10 minutes, not 3, so it'll be a challenge. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for mentioning my book. I also have a Coursera under the same name that so far 20,000 students have gone through with about 2,000 new students a week.
That's great. Thank you so much. Gary, can you please introduce yourself also? Oh, it can also be a good idea for judges to introduce themselves one after another if you have some connection problems or something that doesn't make it possible to introduce in the very order that is represented on the slide.
Kathleen. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me, guys? Yeah.
Yes. We do hear you.
Just make a brief intro about yourself and.
Okay. So it's my turn. I'm really sorry that I'm kind of late right now because I'm actually right now in Asia. I totally set an alarm to catch up, so I hope that I'm not too late. So my name is Kathleen Martinez. I'm actually a lawyer by profession, and I run a fintech company. And I was in the US recently, but now I'm back in Asia to run an operation. And I'm looking forward to meeting like-minded people like yourself and be more engaging in the startup community. So thank you, Sergey and Pavel, for the invitation.
Thank you so much for coming. And now, Victoria, can you also please introduce yourself? Just a couple of words.
Are you asking me or someone else?
No, Victoria, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, some of the judges are joining a little bit later, but they're still able to score you. So moving forward to Michelle.
Hi, everybody. Michelle Cadix. I am a recovering banker and started working in innovation about 10 years ago already. Our company has a simulation platform, which is, you could call a digital twin for lending. So we've used this simulation platform both for purposes of training in the financial sector, and now the digital twin, we can simulate things like the use of open banking data, operational risk, sort of any challenges that lenders might face. We put them into our digital twin virtual world so we can do strategy, exercises, training, whatever needs to be done.
Thank you. Is anyone here from the judges who is ready to also say us a couple of words about themselves?
Okay, then moving to the essential instructions for the scoring.
Yeah.
Katya, you're on mute.
I'm so sorry, but you have must probably have heard me in Sergey's mic also a little bit. One more time again, you should have received a link, right? So you should follow it, and ideally, it will lead you on the website. If you have any technical issues, please let us know in the web chat. Lev will try to resolve these issues. Yeah, but ideally, you will be redirected to the page, which you should tap Startups. Scroll down to the page. and evaluate each startup on the scale of 1 to 5. 5 is the best, 1 is the worst. You can change the mark until the voting is closed. So if you, for example, here the startup and then decide that it deserves more or less points based on like the further startup's evaluation, you can always change the scale you have already put.
Yeah, until we put that the voting is finalized. So did everyone log into the scoring page and able to score the startups?
I'll be honest and say I haven't done that yet, Sergey. So
yeah, Austin.
Michelle here, yes.
You're pitching, so you're not scoring startups.
Okay.
All right. It was to the judges. Okay. So technicalities and formalities are done. Now we have startups presenting in the following order. So we got Choice Gazer, Bitcard, Dollar Finance, PayPads, Rubik, ABC FinTech, Arena Master, Simplicity FinTech, and Steep. So you'll be presenting in the following order. You'll get 3 minutes for a pitch. Then you'll hear a weird noise that your pitch is over, and you have a lot of questions, as we heard today from VCs, very harsh questions, especially from Cam Harvey. And last time we ran this pitch in November, startups couldn't get away with the holes in their pitches, so they received a ton of feedback that helped them to raise further capital. So if you want to drop out of the pitch, this is your last chance to drop out. Otherwise, you're getting into a full contact. So the first one would be choice, and I've provided you the choice to drop out, but now it's sort of, you don't have a choice. So Austin, you can populate your slides, and everyone will have the chance to populate slides if you wish, and then the clock will start ticking.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. If you could give me access. Do you want to stop the other screen sharing? Continue. Yes, thank you. Oops, that's not the screen I want to give you though. That is the screen. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Timing is set.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. So, all right, thank you very much, everybody. So I'm going to present to you choice.com. And it's a new way that people can earn significant returns from their crypto. But before I get into that, a very short overview of our history. We're actually not a startup, although we're still very young. We launched in 2017 under the brand of Crypterium. And since then, we've grown, well, at a strong pace. We've got over 500 million of transactions, 650,000 users, and we've got 30 plus B2B customers. We're growing at a very nice trajectory. When we set up, crypto was a relatively unknown quantity, and the question was more about what can you actually do with crypto and how can you spend it? Well, Crypterium, and to be honest, quite a few other companies have fixed that, and it's actually not that difficult for people to do now. Through the Crypterium application, you can exchange crypto, you can spend crypto, you can buy crypto, and in our case, everything is supported by Visa. But now that we've fixed that problem, the question has changed. It's now more about how do I make money out of crypto? How do I earn from crypto? And centralized wallets have started to offer a number of services. And Crypterium is one of those, offering quite nice returns on your investments or your staking of tokens. And instead of earning, say, a 1% in dollar, you can earn maybe 10% in a stable coin. But these returns pale into insignificance sometimes when you compare them to a decentralized opportunity, which is out there, where you can see significant returns of over 100% in some cases. But if DeFi is so exciting, why are so few people using it? There's approximately 4 million people using DeFi, but over 100 million people using the CeFi services. And the reason is relatively quite straightforward. It is a very difficult thing to do. It is time consuming. You need a degree effectively in crypto. It's expensive because there are so many stages, and it's also quite risky. But we don't believe it has to be that way. We don't believe you have to choose between convenience and returns. I think you can do both, and we think you can do both. And that's where Crypterium is evolving into choice.com. We keep everything that is good about the CeFi, and then we add all these new DeFi elements in an easy to use single location. You can either do everything yourself, the DeFi environment, or we can do it for you. You can keep all the CeFi, and the simple click of one button, you can earn the returns that are out there. Crypterium is not a startup company. We already have 650,000 users and 35 businesses. So immediately we'll be able to attract a new audience into the DeFi environment using our CeFi existing customer base. But that's only the start. After that, we're going to target those 100 million other CeFi users out there. That's it. Thank you.
Can we ask questions?
That would be great if someone wants to ask me a question.
Yeah. Look, when I see on the website, the first thing I see is earn up to 500% APY. Usually I just move on. It's a red flag. It's an exaggeration. And what you talk about in terms of 100% rate of return, surely that's not a long-term thing. Maybe there's some short-term opportunities. So I'd like to understand your business model when these rates of return become like within the ballpark of being reasonable.
Okay, so thank you for the question. I think your comment is actually very fair on that with regards to 500%. And to be honest, we probably would never offer such an option. What we're actually doing is we're providing a layer of aggregation, I guess is a good phrase, where we will access the market's existing DeFi return solutions. And we will give customers, and this is where the word choice comes in, we'll give customers a choice. We will either do everything for you, and we will even take the risk that is involved with that. And at that end, we may well be converting your Bitcoin into a number of relatively attractive tokens that might be able to earn 15% or something along those lines. And we will do all the transactions behind the scenes. We are also able to reduce the fees on that by aggregating a lot of transactions at the same time. We will then have two other options. So we basically give the customer a choice between we do everything to the other extreme, which is we'll give you access to all those DeFi protocols yourself and you take all the risk. And somewhere in the middle is we will have a risk valuation where we'll say, this is a relatively low risk. We will do most of it, but you're taking the risk and you can have a higher return. And we will give customers those choice. But I would agree with you, Cam, that it's very unlikely we would be offering a 500%. But what's important is we're not relying on just one option out there. There's always new options coming out, and we will be spreading the risk amongst a wide variety of options to give the customer choice.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions maybe from other judges? Cam, are you satisfied with the answer? Do you have a follow-up answer?
No, I completely understand the model, and the basic idea of making this easy is a good idea. One thing I don't understand is that that choice will absorb all the risk. We've seen history of these DeFi protocols being exploited. And basically, is it the case that you fully cover? So if you drop 100 million into a protocol and it's drained, that you're going to fully cover that investment?
I think it's important to understand that we would never drop 100 million into one particular protocol. So just, I haven't explained my background. My background is actually one of insurance. I used to run insurance companies. I've spent 25 years running insurance companies. And one of the elements that we've applied to our modeling is effectively the spreading of risk and making certain that we don't put anything above a particular percentage in certain assets depending on the risk profile. So let's say, for sake of argument, there's 100 different protocols or services out there, and some of them are much more attractive. They may have a few billion in them, and some others may only have 2 or 3 million in. Of course, the risk profile is different. But if we are able to, let's say, spread that risk, so let's say 6 or 7% goes into the one which has got 10 billion in, and only just 0.6% goes into the one that's got, you know, a few million in, we're able to spread that risk. And if our returns are, for sake of argument, 20%, and we say to the customer, we're taking all the risk, but you're only going to get 16%, that's a pretty good return for the customer because he didn't have that 16% option beforehand. So yes, we will take the risk in that environment, but we are spreading that risk, and we don't feel that with our modeling, we shouldn't be taking anything beyond what is reasonable, particularly if we keep that return difference and use that effectively as an internal insurance pool.
Thank you.
All right, I think we got last question from Michelle, and then we'll move to the next pitch.
Yes, Sergey. Quick question.
Yes.
Who do you see as your competition? And curious, for example, do you see, you know, somebody like PayPal as a future competition with this type of solution?
I don't think PayPal will be a solution, a competition in let's say in the first 4 or 5 years, because they'll be much more conservative about their licenses and their effectively fiat currency solutions. But in the space, there will be a number of players that move into this. So Crypto.com, Celsius, Coinbase, Binance, they all have the opportunity to do this. But where I would come from, and I don't want to get too much into the regulatory side of things, but DeFi and CeFi are going to be regulated in a slightly different way. And those that are in the CeFi space and already big are already sort of getting a lot of heat in the CeFi regulatory environment. So there is an opportunity there. But one thing I haven't mentioned is that Choice.com, we also provide a B2B solution that nobody else is providing right now. So we have 650,000 users in our B2B in our retail app. There's no reason why one of our 35 B2B partners, which signed up last year, can't also have 650K. So we're replicating it. None of the competitors out there that we see are actually replicating what we're doing across the market on a B2B environment. So we will have competitors, we won't be alone, but I think our complete B2B and retail offering gives us something different.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justin. So now we are ready to move to another UK startup, Geyser. So we give the floor to you and give our judges a chance to choose the best UK startup.
Sounds good. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Mick and Stelios, co-founders of Geyser. So Geyser basically makes crowdfunding accessible to around 8 billion people. Let me tell you a quick story. So Apata is a Nigerian entrepreneur based in Lagos that discovered Bitcoin in 2017. And ever since, he's understood the importance of Bitcoin as a tool for financial independence. He now sees an alternative to his native Naira currency, which has suffered from 15.6% inflation this year alone. Today, Apata wants to educate the people of his community about Bitcoin, so they too can find a way out of this inflationary system that erodes their wealth. So he wants to host a conference about Bitcoin in Lagos, but how is he going to fund it? The traditional crowdfunding platforms such as Kickstarter and GoFundMe aren't available to him, and the current financial system makes it prohibitively expensive to receive funds from donors worldwide. So what's the solution here? Geyser gave Apata the tools to bring the idea to the attention of the global Bitcoin community on Twitter, help him gain accountability and trust, help him involve his funders through rewards and badges, and also raise funds cheaply and instantly through the Bitcoin Lightning Network, to make his idea come to life. In a few weeks, more than 90 donors from all over the world, from Suriname to Nepal, have contributed to Apata's conference and have joined in his journey. And in 3 months, Geyser will launch more than 15 projects in our closed alpha. In roughly a year, we hope to have 7.9 billion more projects launched on Geyser. That's the pitch. Let me quickly show you what we're working on. This is Geyser live at the moment with Apata.
Yeah, you have 1 minute, so show the best that you've got.
Yeah, so this is Geyser currently. Apata has currently raised $1,000, 0.0275 Bitcoin to fund his project. He has contributed by also adding updates to his project. As you can see, project update. He has received sponsorships to support his initiative. The sponsor will be able to be featured in the project itself. And there we are, closed alpha. And ready for more projects in a few weeks. That's it from me.
So, do our judges have any questions? Perfect timing, by the way. Yeah, Campbell?
Yeah, well, I don't mean to hog the questions. I've got many questions. Obviously, Kickstarter is like a failed initiative, given the fees that are taken. I'd like to know what sort of fee that you're actually taking from this. How much better is it than Kickstarter, number one? And number two, I just don't understand the choice of the Bitcoin blockchain. So unless this is like a layer 2 situation of Bitcoin, it seems much more logical to use another layer 1 technology like Solana or even Ethereum. Small donations just too expensive.
Yeah, great question. So as you rightly pointed out, Kickstarter has like 8.5% fees for successful projects. We at the moment are not charging anything because we're in closed alpha, but plan to charge between 1% and 2% per successful project. That is a private products like non-for-profit projects would probably not charge anything. In terms of the blockchain, yes, we are running on the Lightning Network, Bitcoin Lightning Network, which means it's instant and super cheap. We also will allow very soon the payments on chain, because we found that although they are more expensive and more latent, they are often come with much higher donations, whereas Lightning enables basically microtransactions of a thousand of a dollar in value, so which also makes it really fun. And this is also part of the beauty, is that's not so much the amount, but the fact that anyone can contribute whatever amount they want as low as 1 Satoshi, which is $0.0002 dollars. So yeah, that's sort of to answer the question.
Thank you.
And by the way, those projects that don't make a cut to finals can go to Mike's platform and raise funds there in Bitcoins.
Absolutely, anyone's welcome. Feel free, reach out later.
So do we have any other questions from the judges? Kathleen? You unmuted.
Hi, let me just repeat my question. How much is the minimum investment in your company? Because I see in your status right now, like 1,300.
Kathleen, we're not able to announce it on.
Oh, okay, sorry. But
on air, because different countries have different rules. Yes, so you can follow up privately with Mick about that.
Maybe I will ask a different question then. but if it's not appropriate, you can cut me off. I would like to ask how you gonna sustain your operation. It seems like it's too big. Like how I sound it, like how I hear it, it seems like the very beginning, it's like a lot of operation is going to be expensive. So how are you going to sustain that for the first year?
Yeah, great question. At the moment, we are doing a lot of hand holding with each project creator in order for us to keep on iterating on the funder flow, keep understanding the feature sets and feature requirements, and improve the UX as much as possible. But as we keep on iterating and scaling it and abstracting out the actual projects, we believe there will be not that much more hand-holding. The main operational issue will come around basically kind of curating the projects. Like, we don't want to be involved. People will be applying, and we will be simply accepting and sort of managing that, make sure that they're tenable, that there's no sort of harm being done. So that level there probably can be scaled quite swiftly. I think, yeah, but it is interesting because every crowdfunding platform out there is local and regional, and here we're providing something that is global. So that is the truly like potentially infinite scalability will have to come with adequate operational scalability as well. So probably we'll do a lot of hiring around operations and legal as well.
All right, thank you. So switching gears, Katya, who is next?
Yeah, next we are going to move to the first US-based startup in our today's pitch. So we are going to move to Bitcard. The floor is yours.
Hello, could you hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Bitcard CC is a decentralized, self-hosted, open-source cryptocurrency all-in-one solution which offers payment processing and developer solutions without any processing fees except for network ones. Current market lacks a solution which allows accepting cryptocurrency payments without any fees and third-party involvement. Existing solutions are hard to use, have high system requirements, and don't aim to be supporting high loads. Our code is flexible, thus we target crypto developers, offline points of sale, online shops and marketplaces, as well as custom businesses. Bitcard CC provides secure and decentralized services for everyone willing to accept cryptocurrency payments and create blockchain applications. Security, decentralization, and open source nature are our core values, and we found a way to make it sustainable, keeping them. We provide a lightweight, but at the same time, almost as secure solution as using full nodes. To accelerate development of blockchain applications, we provide developer SDK and web APIs. To accelerate creation of e-commerce stores, we provide an easy-to-use admin panel, which allows management of an unlimited number of connected stores, products, and invoices. In case a merchant doesn't have their own store, we provide a ready store point of sale, which can also be used in offline stores. Also, there are plugins to integrate with existing e-commerce systems. As for our business model, we will keep an open source project at our core and provide managed instant success based on a subscription model. Pricing will vary with the amount of paid features, stores, support priority, and other factors. The money from the company will be forwarded to fund the open source code development by hiring people to work full-time to add new features. This will attract new users, which will register for the managed instance, and this increases the monthly revenue, thus leading to an infinite sustainable cycle. Also, we will create custom solutions based on Bitcard CC for large-scale business problems, as well as priority support for the custom use cases. We will use 4 main sources of marketing: organic, social media, prepaid, and influencers experiences. At this slide, you can take a look at our team. From our calculations, our estimated operating costs based on our possible values are not that high, and to bootstrap, we don't need much resources as the core is already done. After the initial launch, we will hire an engineer to expand our target market and support a wide number of cryptocurrencies, including Ethereum, Solana, as well as a few stable coins. From our calculations, $306,000 would be a sustainable amount of money for a 12 months runway. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for pitching. Yeah, do our judges have questions? I presume, as always, we do, but like, Alexei, can you please stop presenting? Thank you. So that Campbell, you're free to ask the question.
So I just quickly looked at the website. Is this another Bitcoin implementation using Lightning Network? And if it is, I just don't understand why you wouldn't consider, most of the DeFi is on Ethereum virtual machine where everything is interoperable. And this is just not the case, that the Bitcoin blockchain is in isolation. You need to rely upon bridges.
Well, basically, we started with Bitcoin because we used Electrum Bitcoin wallet as our core. We wrapped it and found the way to use it in our apps to provide both developer and merchant solutions. But yes, we provide Lightning Network and a few other things. But it is easier to add a new wrapper. For example, recently we found the Liquidity wallet, which would allow us, when we create a wrapper around it, it would allow us to support Ethereum, Solana, and all the other cryptocurrencies with ease. I've already contacted the developers, and we will start implementing this after the initial core product, the managed product, is implemented.
So you need a bridging technology.
Kind of, yes. We use different wallets in a way that allows us to track payments, as well as to provide some IP for developers to send payments and other stuff.
Thank you. We have another question from Gajo. Hello. We missed your introduction.
Hello. Well, I had a problem connecting. Thank you. First of all, it's a really nice presentation. All the details that are important are there. Nevertheless, my question would be, since you're an operating business, when you have commenced with your operations, and since I saw that you don't know exact number of users because of your complex solution, how much of revenue you generated so far?
For now, we don't generate any revenue because for now it is an open source project, but we will add a managed service on the top of that so that existing users of the self-hosted instances would not be affected. But we found that even that we simplified the installation process, that they just need to enter server details. For most users, this is unacceptable because they can't do that. So by adding a solution where they just click a button and everything is set up in seconds, we would have way more new users.
How long you're in business? I mean, how long you've been operating? And in terms of software development, what is left to be done?
Well, basically, by saying operating business, I mean that the project is live and being tested by the users. The initial commit was on the 5th March of 2019, but it was without any profit ideas till now.
Thank you for the thorough answer, and I will leave enough time for other judges to ask as well. All the best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So we are ready to move to another startup, right? To Dollar Finance. So we give the floor to you.
Jake, please present your pitch.
Hey guys, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll show my deck so you can look at something else besides me. So Dolo Finance, our mission is to provide crypto liquidity to real world loans. And I'm sure you guys are already familiar. This is a very crypto smart audience that traditional banking is dying. We saw there's roughly $2 trillion locked up in crypto, as well as $200 billion locked up in DeFi, up 1,300% in just 1 year. And now people are getting crazy stablecoin APYs up to 20% on the Anchor protocol. So this is insane. And this is really where the world is going. Right? So I'm sure you guys are aware, and anyone in DeFi can lend, borrow, provide liquidity. My background is in traditional finance. It blew my mind when I first saw people being market makers by themselves as individuals. But with the huge DeFi summer of 2021, we realized that most of crypto loans require collateral, over collateralized loans. And the people who really need it actually don't have collateral to put up, like 3-to-1, 1.51, 2-to-1. So you're left with traditional debt lines and they suck, right? So when really, if you look at a traditional warehouse line, it takes months of underwriting. It can cost roughly anywhere from 300K to $1 million just in legal fees, which is insane. These are emerging lenders who are trying to get easy capital to actually start and grow their businesses. Along with that, you have to do weekly recurring meetings or reconciliation meetings with these debt lines. And also, you get extra interest charges because the payback terms are left to traditional payments. And so we're building a CeFi DeFi protocol, which is a decentralized debt capital line for business loan originators. What we're doing is we're cutting down on fees and on time to ramp up to actually have a traditional debt line. And the way we're doing this is the important part, is we're starting off with one-to-one collateralized debt. So they'll actually, if you want to borrow $1 million, deposit into fiat. Using fiat, we're not actually going to help them do on-ramp, off-ramp. We're going to handle that for them. And then we'll give them $1 million. In 4 to 6 months, we'll 2x that leverage. In 9 months, we'll 4x that leverage. And in 12 months, we'll 10x that leverage. So we're actually building on-chain credit for them and helping them leverage their initial collateral for emerging lenders. And so we have a light paper out, and we plan on actually completely decentralizing our protocol in the future. And right now we're having our centralized entity do KYC, to AML on the businesses coming in, and it's not open to US investors. And we're using stablecoin to actually create lending pools. I'm happy to answer more questions about how lending pools are created during the question portion. I just want to get through this in 3 minutes. We have a great roadmap with actually doing a token launch. We're getting our token warrant ready. We plan on actually providing liquidity for depositing it into our lending pools and creating secondary markets for those. And actually even working with credit default swaps. So I used to work at SoFi. I helped launch their first automated investment product. I helped out with securitizations, got all my investment banking licenses, saw the boring, not fun stuff with traditional finance. My co-founder, Sina, he actually helped raise a 20 million Series A at a 400 million valuation. So really strong Series A, has great startup experience. I've worked with our dev team for over the past 2.5 years, and we're bringing on a CTO in the coming weeks. I'm also technical myself, so I can build, but I want to bring someone who's been in the space for quite a few years over me. We have some great investors and advisors, and we're looking to actually raise this money. And right now we're in talks with our first originators, and we're going to launch the mainnet and expand our founding team. And that's Solo Finance. Thank you.
Yeah, Jack, we'll have to cut it off from the video, your fundraising announcement, because it's not allowed in every country to whom we're broadcasting. Thank you for the presentation. And we got a little chit chat with Katya behind the scenes, and she has this feeling from Cam Harvey's class that he's gonna like this project, but we'll see. So Cam,
please destroy me.
Yeah, so I actually think this is a very interesting idea, that one thing that DeFi so far has not solved is this under collateralized lending, which is a huge market. There are some protocols that are offering delegated stake, and it seems like that's really what you're doing. So this, the liquidity pool is like delegated staking of collateral. Is that correct? And I did read the light paper, and it is definitely light because the mechanism, the blockchain basics is just way too vague to evaluate.
Yeah, it's more of, I'd say, like an intent actually, instead of a light paper. And so really that's how it's working, right? So the way that we're doing it, and you may be familiar with Goldfinch, TrueFi, or other competitors in the space, and they actually look at history. The way that we're doing it with this collateralization model of one-to-one starting out, one, it makes it much easier. It makes it for lenders to actually get onboarded and to create the lending pool. So once the collateral is deposited from the originator, like say they want to borrow $1 million, they deposit $1 million, a lending pool gets spun up. And we'll have different tranches of debt that'll actually work with the one-to-one lending pools. So we'll have a senior tranche starting off, but just, I don't want to get too much in the specifics, but creating those lending pools can have different risks, different geographic profiles, and different exposures. Back to your question, yes, I would say yes, starting out. I don't want to like go deep into one question though.
So do we have any, yeah, Michelle?
Okay, here. Credit risk geek.
Yes.
Can you just give and apologize, I haven't read the light paper, so if it's in there, apologies in advance. Can you just give me a little more flavor when you say, you know, this sense of starting to create that credit record on the chain? How can that be leveraged to make the lending, you know, grow faster, more sustainable, et cetera? The way the credit bureaus did that for, you know, old school traditional lending.
So I can give a story of how actually an original will come on the platform. So they'll actually apply through website, KYC, AML, business information, do all that. We can actually create that into an NFT, put it on chain. And we actually plan on, we're still finalizing a lot of this, actually their loan payments that they make, and even bringing their loan book on chain as well. That's a lot of information, but we're trying to be very careful and create our own credit score with that. And so once you track that, you can actually track the health of an originator or a lender. And if the health is good, you can have what we're calling lifeguards actually approve of a debt line increase. And so that way it's like, hey, good health, increase to 2x leverage, all that's going to be open, 4x, 10x.
Thank you. Yeah, anything that can drive a lot of user transparency and accessibility will,
exactly.
It seems that would accelerate the growth of the whole initiative. Thanks.
So, yeah, thank you so much, judges, startups. We are ready to move to the fifth one, PayPads. The name is interesting, right? So let's see how interesting the project is. We are giving the floor to you.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty well. My name is Edward Gonzalez, and I'm the founder and CEO of paypads.com. I'm going to go ahead and share my deck. Let me know if you can see it, and then I will go ahead and hop in.
We do.
All right. So PayPads is a app service that basically empowers renters to be able to pay rent on their own terms. So a problem that we're seeing here in America is that for a lot of Americans, their housing costs, typically rent, exceeds 50% of their post-tax income. A lot of people, you know, live paycheck to paycheck. They pay their rent every month, but sometimes they have to encounter late fees, overdraft fees, or even potentially that eviction notice if they're 3 days behind. A lot of people don't have any alternatives but predatory lenders. I was a victim of this myself. I was in a room for rent, told you have 24 hours to find a new place, ended up briefly homeless and had to go to like 4 different payday loan centers just to secure the capital for another room for rent while I was in between my own paychecks. So that solution stuck with me, and I decided to build a platform to really address that market. A little bit about myself. I have 5 years in prop tech. I have worked with TransUnion when creating products to go to market on behalf of a company called Rently.com. So with PayPads, we're looking to basically bridge that socioeconomic gap. We have a membership-based platform where for $24.99 a month, you sign up and you get peace of mind for rent protection. If in the event you need help 1 month, we will actually work with the landlord and pay the landlord directly, allowing the renter to repay over time that best lines up with either their financial situation, paychecks, whatever that might be. We started in 2018 and we launched a MVP during COVID, got great data, had to reconfigure a few things, and now we're back on the app stores and fully on the market, launched December 15th, 2021. Market size a little bit, there's a 44 million TAM renter cap that we've seen. Out of that, we believe that with our B2B and B2C market push, us partnering with property managers and landlords as well as directly to consumer, we can get about a 30 million serviceable market and really create, and generate this into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Target market, one of the uphill battles is sometimes people think of this as a stereotype where only the desperate need it. However, there's a lot of people that can use this in high rent places such as New York, San Francisco. Some people get paid, salary, some people get paid commission. So this is something that we can be utilized across all platforms, even to the point where if you have great credit and you have an Amex card, that cash advance fee is probably going to be a lot higher than just joining PayPads and paying our fee for that access to capital. A little bit of our monthly revenue, pretty simple. We charge $24.99 a month. Out of that, it's reoccurring, every single month. The way that it works is we have a 30-day verification period because we do not currently check credit. We do not currently charge interest or any of that. We partnered with Plaid to be able to help look at users' finances in real time, their payment history in real time. And basically, after we verify their income, their landlord, all of that, they can go ahead and move forward with rent protection if they need to. Difference between us and all of our competitors is we work directly with the renter. We work with the property managers as well, but we do not force the property managers to work with us in order to access the renter. We pay the landlord directly, so there's no redirection of the funds. And our default rate is a lot lower because we work with renters and landlords who have already been pre-screened by the landlord, usually by credit, income, and all of that, even before they're allowed access into the rental, right? You have to have rental requirements and pre-screening before your landlord signs off on your lease. Market approach, we're going B2B with partnering with property management companies. We're going after small mom and pops in the single family market, as well as bigger giants like American Homes for Rent, Greystar, some other major players in the market on the B2B. We're also looking into public sector partnerships with, Section 8 government rental assistant housing, since typically those payments are already made directly to the landlord as well. A little bit of our growth. Currently, we have 270 paying users every month with a monthly recurring revenue of about $7,000 a month and growing just since our relaunch of December 15th of last year. And a little bit about our team. Myself, Edward, I kind of told you I have prop tech experience. Philip Moore, COO, was a former executive of CarMax and really helped build the Carfax, which is a big nationwide service here in the US for checking car history. Our development head is based overseas and we're using no code. And just a little bit about our team there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Edward, I have to cut you off because you're already over time. And now we open up for questions for your project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cam?
Yeah, so the problem that I see is the so-called adverse selection problem, that the people that will take the service are the people that with high probability know that they're going to miss. And it's also likely that with the 4 equal payments that they don't pay back. It's kind of like the movie idea where you pay $25 a month for unlimited movies. The people that actually went for that are the people that were going to multiple movies every week. So how do you address the adverse selection problem? And it's got to go beyond, oh, well, we only go to property managers that are high quality and free ride on their actual selection procedures.
Yeah, so with that, we know with numbers, we've had 14% of people actually request a rent request, and we've had a 0 default rate. So everybody that has requested has paid back. So in our Cinderella story, we're seeing that the stereotypical push of that is actually being kind of mitigated by the fact that people are utilizing this product as a peace of mind, similar to the insurance industry where you pay every month for your car insurance, right, in case of a car crash, in case of something happens. That's a similar mentality that we're seeing with PayPads. Of course, we do apprehend that there are going to be people that will not be able to pay back, we're going to try to work with them and also, have segmented a part of our own overhead to account for that as well. Since, with our user base and with growing it, the actual rent request is a lot lower. We believe that this also is a reason that people don't want to abuse the system and miss, gambling with their housing. So if they need this in the future, they might not be able to use it if they don't pay us back, and there aren't other options out there for them other than predatory lenders or things that will not even, look at them twice, essentially. So that's kind of how we're able to, so far, knock on wood, mitigate that, and also try to create a renter community user base that understands what we're doing and uses it in a non-abusive way.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other questions from judges? That's good. It seems we do. Michelle?
Credit Risk Geek here again. In terms of, you talked about the target audience in terms of your B2B channels, but how would you describe the borrowers that you're willing to take on in terms of, can they be unbanked? Can they have a zero credit record? If so, how would you evaluate that, et cetera?
Mm-hmm. So part of our verification process, or I guess underwriting process, you could say, I mentioned we did partner with Plaid. So historically, all of our competitors are using credit, right? And not everybody's going to get approved for a credit line that's based on the amount of their rent. So what we're doing is we're looking at real-time financials, and we're looking at, has this person paid their rent every month? Maybe not on time, but historically, have they paid it every month? What does their income look like? Is their income enough to cover this? What does their spending habits look like? Overdraft fees, all of that. As long as you have an income and you can prove that you're paying your rent on time, we're willing to work with you and basically take that risk and take that chance. And historically, it is paying off because we're accessing a market that is underrepresented, is underserved, but at the same time, being, they say shelter, food, and those are one of the main, aspects of survival. So we see that people aren't willing to really, gamble with their homes, and they look at us as a socioeconomic gap, to really access that capital, to say, hey, why not look at me? I pay my rent every month, and maybe it's a little bit late, but I always pay my rent because I don't want to end up in that situation. So that's how we're able to really help these people and let them know all you need is a bank account, history, income, and we verify with the landlord too, all of their information during our 30-day verification process, to answer your question.
And is that scalable? Meaning, is it like, they need to use the Stripe or Plaid APIs to hook in their accounts to give you the cash flow data streams?
Yes, so we're currently utilizing those APIs to be able to look at that information. We do have a manual workaround as well for more of the underbanked, where they can, upload their pay stubs, upload their rent, all of that, and then it's a harder, manual verification on our end. We're looking into sift.com to help do machine learning and minimize a lot of that manual labor risk that we have to do with scoring algorithms. So we believe in the future with more growth in capital, that will be minimized a lot on the manual side.
Okay. And then if they have a bureau report, do you guys pull those?
We're not doing any sort of report pulling at all right now.
Okay.
In the future, like I said, I have launched products with TransUnion in the past, so I'm looking into creating a way for people to gain credit or improve credit based on rent payment history. So that's something that we're going to be doing in the future, but right now we're not doing anything with bureaus or credit pulling.
Okay. So for now, it's based on the cash flow data.
Yeah, real-time cash flow and rent verification, transactional history. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for asking and answering questions. We are ready to. I'm sorry, Kathleen, we don't have any much time for this very starter, but you are free to ask them in in the chat, I guess. Yeah, right. Yeah, but we should move forward to Robic. That is our next startup, and it seems that Jake from Dollar Finance also uses it. So, quite interesting to hear about that, right?
Yeah, hi everyone. It's actually amazing that someone from the audience already used Rubik. So that's really great. Let me share my presentation. Yeah, good evening. It's 2 a.m. here. I am currently in St. Petersburg in Russia, and my name is Alexandra. I'm one of the co-founders of Rubik. So Rubik is a multi-chain protocol that combines all the blockchains, DEXs, and bridges in one place. So, and it's extremely simple UI that makes it perfect for everyday use. And for users, you don't need to go and switch from one DEX to another DEX. If you want to go from one blockchain to another blockchain, we find the best routing and the best rates for you because we have smart routing. We aggregate bridges, so we give you the best possible abilities to swap and from any chain to another chain. So shortly about the numbers that we already have, we launched in 2020, and we launched our multi-chain protocol in September 2021. We have more than 25,000 users and have approximately like a bit more than 185 millions of the total volume. We have integrated more than 60 DEXs, and we have integrated at the moment more than 11 blockchains. Our aim is actually we integrate up to 3 new blockchains every month. We have more than 15,000 assets available. So that means that you can swap any token on any like supported blockchain that you have to any other token on any other supported blockchain that we have. So that's shortly how that works. We are decentralized and we were audited by CertiK. Here, I'll skip that, show some stats that we have. So as I mentioned, we launched in September. Since then, we've been growing in volume of our multi-chain swap and our business model that we charge up to 0.6% from the multi-chain swaps, and the project is sustainable at the moment. So the revenue that we get, we spend for the operational needs. We have a very amazing feature as well, which is our widget is exactly copied, but the widget in the widget. And we have more than 50 projects that install that. And that gives the ability for all project users to stay on their website and buy and sell their tokens exactly on their websites. Also shortly about probably the team. We are in crypto since 2017. We've been participating in many hackathons and won grants from different blockchains such as Polygon, Tezos, Harmony, Near. So we got around 30 people at the moment. I'm mostly responsible for like biz dev, marketing, finance part, and my partner Vladimir, he's mostly for tech part. So our community,
we are at time.
So yeah, our community call us like the Amazon for crypto, and that's kind of what we want to give the users the ability to swap easily. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. So as Amazon, you're gonna overtake lots of industries.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, ready for your question.
Well. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I have a question. This cross-chain technology is relatively new, and there's been many exploits, including the Poly network, 611 million. Yeah. So give me some reassurance that you've got some insurance fund or something like that, whereby I feel comfortable actually using your protocol.
Yeah, so I think that actually technical part of our protocol, we are different than any swap as the Soren chain and all others, because what we have is we have liquidity pools that we have, like, let me show again how the multi-chain scheme works. So what we have is that, you have token X on one chain. We have here the liquidity pool that every time when you want to swap, what we do, we first sell it to USDC. Then because of our validators, we do on another chain from this liquidity pool, we use our USDC to buy the token X. That's why it's so easy and fast. So actually we don't if there is like big slippage or everything, then it won't be doing the deal. We will give you back your money. And we have the limits, which is 70K at the moment. So you cannot swap more. And our liquidity pools are like enough for that. So we are not scared of the hacks that our, like, I wouldn't say competitors, but similar projects has, because it's just different structure of that.
Well, I don't see that this is any different than the standard architecture. And maybe offline, you could text me on this.
Sure.
And then I assume you don't have an insurance fund.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from judges? That's perfect because we are really short on time. That's why we just want to move straight to ABC FinTech, our next startup. Please start as soon as you're ready. Guys, are you here?
I can see Sean here from ABC Finance, ABC FinTech.
Perfect.
Hey, Doug, you're on mute. Hey, Doug, you're on mute.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. My name is Doug McCride, and I'm the president and co-founder of ABC FinTech and ABC Tokens. Many of you are aware that 90% of the millionaires in this country and globally have made their money in the real estate sector. Our mission is to democratize commercial real estate investing while providing unprecedented liquidity. Who is ABC FinTech? We're the operating company that provides the ongoing management for the ABC platform and our real estate holding company, ABC Tokens. The problems with commercial real estate investing traditionally has been that it is notoriously illiquid, plagued with inefficiencies, requires significant capital investment, and it's only available to those with significant net worth and lots of connections. Our solution, ABC Tokens. It's our asset-backed crypto. Democratization is a big deal for us. In our most basic sense, what we're doing is we are fractionizing commercial real estate assets using blockchain technology to deliver an asset-backed crypto, which represents that fractional ownership. Liquidity is another really big thing for us. And our solution to that is to be able to list our ABC tokens on multiple exchanges, thereby providing liquidity for our token holders. Oftentimes today, we hear a lot of talk about surging inflation. We're currently at a 40-year record high. People are looking for a solution. Real estate and crypto are the two places where people typically go to find those hedges. We play in that sandbox where real estate intersects with cryptocurrency. So for the crypto people, most cryptocurrencies are not backed by hard assets, which make them skeptical investments and oftentimes speculative assets. That's a major point of differentiation because we reduce the risk and the volatility that is typically associated with most cryptocurrencies. The floor for our ABC token should never be less than what the value of our equity is in our commercial real estate portfolio, plus cash on hand divided by tokens in circulation. So as we sell more tokens, it doesn't dilute, it actually adds to the asset value, helping us to maintain the value of our tokens. Last year, we closed on about $3 million of commercial real estate. We have about $50 million in our pipeline for this year. Have a very aggressive marketing plan, looking at lots of different channels that we're following through. And you probably could have seen us in any of these major press outlets. And lastly, in addition, we recently were selected to have a segment on the Advancements TV series through CNBC, which is billed as where the intersection of innovation and quality of life takes place with Ted Danson. And that will be airing in June of this year. So with that, thank you for listening, and we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, Doug. So we are open for the questions. Yes.
I got a question. So this seems like an obvious security. So is this something that's not going to be offered in the US? There's been many other initiatives like this in the real estate area, and all have been held up in terms of regulatory issues. To be clear, I like the idea of tokenizing. I believe everything will be tokenized. So the idea is a good idea. I'm just concerned about the feasibility. And on your website, I see no mention of the regulatory hurdle.
Very good point. We do see ourselves as a security and not as a currency. Thereby, we fall under the SEC regulations from a security standpoint. So when we're in a fundraising mode, we have to comply with all of the SEC regulations. Once we hit 2,000 token holders, we'll have to go through the registration process just like any other security would. But there's so much talk right now about regulation of cryptocurrencies. And so we decided to take the high road, and we wanted to fully comply with all of the SEC regulations, which we felt we fell under. And thereby, if that time does come, that the government reaches a lot more deeply than what they are right now, we would be in full compliance with that. And our team of security people have been guiding us through that process.
Just the last thing, you really need to make the case that what you're doing is more efficient than just buying a REIT.
Yeah, and so as you look at REITs, by law, they're required to distribute 90% of their profits back to their ownership, and their price remains the same. One of the points that we have done is we have intentionally, so we have two companies, ABC FinTech, which is the operating company, ABC Tokens, which is the real estate holding company. ABC Tokens is taxed as a C Corp. We do not intend to do any dividends or distributions from that, because our objective is to drive the price of the token as high as we can, as quick as we can. We like to refer to that as the Berkshire Hathaway model.
Okay, thank you for the pitch, Doug. Thank you for the questions, Campbell. And now it's time for a very unique from the lineup of the projects. StartUp is the startup from Georgia. It's called Arena Master, and it's about application of blockchain in the gaming area. So Livan, please share your pitch, and I'll start the clock.
Hi, actually, Grigol, CTO of the company, will be sharing the pitch.
Hey guys.
Will be presenting, yeah.
Hey guys, so I'm Grigol. I'm CTO and co-founder of company Sambrella and Arena Master. So we have created the company around 2 years ago. We started with creating hyper casual games, then we were working with the Voodoo Azure games, and then we moved to the skill-based games. We had experience working with Ego Games, the guys from Spain, and a skills company, the use-based company. And 6 months ago, we decided to create our own project, which is called Arena Master. Arena Master is a skill-based NFT game and a tokenized game. We have partnered with a game exchange, which allows us to interact with to let our users to swap their tokens to coins and use the NFTs as utilities inside a game as well. And we are planning to also create the NFT marketplace. We have like different game modes into our game. So the first mode, which is the PvP, so you can actually play the game to your opponent with the tokens. We are planning to have the different tournaments like weekly, monthly, and the master tournaments like twice a year, and we are having the NFTs as the play to earn mode. So NFTs having the different rarities, and based on your earnings of the tokens are based on the rarities. We also offer the different kind of things for inside a game, like a referral system and different ones. So we plan to have our token on the different blockchains, started with the Binance Chain network, but we plan to bridge on Ethereum and different blockchains as well. We are planning to have the VR application to let our players to interact with each other and showcase the NFTs as well. I want to note that we believe that the feedback is most of the important part for our game and our project. So we are ready to get any suggestions and the feedbacks. Especially we have MVP version of the stores already, so you guys can start playing the game immediately after this speech. And we also already have around the 1,000 users who are helping us to move the project to the next level. So yeah, that's the small intro about us.
Thank you so much. Let's move to the judges' questions. And by the way, I really like the style of your presentation, so you did a good job. I guess. Campbell?
Yeah, so help me out. How is this different than Axie Infinity? Can you do things that they're doing potentially, or is the end game for you to be maybe acquired by somebody like them?
So that's a great question. The one mode that we are planning to have into our game is NFT fighting. So that means that if you own the NFT and you want to play with your opponent, you can actually get your NFT and play against them. And if you're going to win the match, you're gonna win their NFT. So we can say it's a kind of gamble, but we think that this is one interest mode in the NFT space as well. And also, like when we mentioned the VR, we believe that the VR is also important to grow, like to have the community talking with each other and showcase the NFTs as well in the VR. Like I'm talking about like Oculus and different kind of devices. So we actually planning the different modes into our game that Axie Infinity does not do, at least for now.
Perfect. Do we have any other questions? Yeah, Kathleen? You are muted again.
Hi, I'm attorney Kathleen. So I'm really interested in the gaming industry. So I just want to ask a question, because based on your pitch that 2021 is you have like a good roadmap, but it's still in the beta mode based on the testers. So how do you define that you can achieve the roadmap so aggressively? How do you scale with that when there are a lot of competitors nowadays in your industry? How do you gonna strategize that? Yeah.
That's definitely a great question. So since we are almost ready with the game, I mean, like everybody can play for now as the testing the game, and we are also integrating the SDK. We are finalizing them, so we are just testing on the testnet for now. So we're gonna be ready until the launch. That's for sure. Which is gonna happen for the next month. So our game gonna be ready on the testnet before moving to the launch.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, let's move to the next startup as we are really short on time. Simplicity FinTech.
Thank you, Google.
Hi, my name is Michelle Miara. I'm the founder of Simplicity FinTech, co-founder, I should say. And so my background is actually accounting. I'm an accounting expert. I have had, my background is also like beverage industry. I've had multiple beverage brands, energy drinks, flavored malt beverages, hard seltzers, and I've helped a lot of different beverage and consumer good companies with their accounting. And in doing so, I realized a few things. Everyone struggles, small businesses basically struggle with accounting. And for the most part, there's a huge dissatisfaction rate with QuickBooks, which has 75% market share. I'm going to go ahead and share here. Okay. So really, like the first slide said, a business super app. So we see that really FinTech is unbundled. So there's a big opportunity for a one-stop shop business super app. So accounting, payments, and ease of use. So it's a simplified accounting. We offer free instant payments. So we actually do not use we don't use ACH. We don't use the traditional banking rails. So we have our own system, which is basically free instant transfers, and to QuickBooks and Xero, which I've used extensively for about 15 years, mobile first. So site, or it's not software, turned into a website. It's really app first. U.S. small businesses are based.
I'm sorry. I guess you have quite some problems with the connection issues, so we can barely hear you. Yeah.
Oh, that is me.
Is this better?
Yeah, it seems better.
Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, so we're targeting U.S. small businesses, which is 99% of total U.S. businesses are small businesses. Our definition is 10 employees or less. And so again, here QuickBooks with 75% market share, high dissatisfaction rate. And we are replacing, there's a lot of, when I was saying FinTech is unbundled, a lot of expense management, invoice, crypto integrations, different layers, and they all integrate with QuickBooks. The bank connections get broken a lot, and then these have to be reinitiated. People end up with duplicate transactions in their QuickBooks or missing transactions. So we are basically a business bank account with built-in accounting. So the business bank account is the accounting software. It's a no cost for users who use our accounting software, and we do the accounting on our native crypto wallets also, and we're going to offer an instant payroll solution for payroll. So when the business owner runs payroll, employees get paid instantly. We have different revenue sources, from the SimSmart card, which is our debit card that is fully customizable, just like spend management platforms with daily, monthly spend limits, that sort of thing. You can link your card to either your crypto wallet or any of your Sim bank accounts. And so this is basically the accounting categories. There's a lot of solutions out there for self-employed people competing with QuickBooks Self-Employed. This is actually, we support LLCs, corporations. This is actually proper business accounting, and it's all done through the mobile app. And we have other sources of income, such as 1099 e-filing, and then transferring funds outside of your Sim bank account. It's free for next day, but we do have faster options where there's a fee. And we also offer invoicing, where we make money off of the percentage.
Michael, I have to open the floor for judges to ask questions.
Sure.
Fortunately, the time for pitch is over. So, Cam, please.
Yeah, sorry for asking so many questions. Is this going to be running in the US? If yes, it seems like you need money transmitter licenses for every state that you're actually dealing in. So maybe you could talk a little bit about regulatory risk. And I don't even know if you've applied to be like a bank, or
Absolutely.
is this just accounting?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. We use a banking as a service vendor. We use a banking as a service platform, which is why we're trying to raise money, because we have to sign a 1-year contract with them. So we've built an accounting layer and UI on top of their solution. So we partner with a FDIC insured bank. Okay, yeah, they're a US FDIC insured chartered bank, and then in between the partner bank and us. So we're a fintech, we're not a bank. In between the fintech and the charter bank is a banking as a service platform with different APIs for issuing cards, opening bank accounts, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
All right, so many of our judges already started giving scores to the projects. So we have our last project to pitch is STEEP. And in the meanwhile, please, judges, look at the scoring table and make up your mind who's gonna be your #1 project for tonight. So with that, I'm opening the floor for our last but not least project from Georgia, STEEP.
Hi everyone, my name is Vladimir. We are a STEEP international team from Georgia, US and Russia. So basically it's the middle of the night in Georgia and Russia, and we're ready to go with our pitch tonight, I would say. So we all know that the currently banking system is being disrupted by the events from the last time. First of all, the crisis of 2008 and the Occupy movement changed the attitude from especially younger generation to the existing banking system. So up to 50% of Generation Z don't trust the current banking system. What is more, the last event of the pandemic made these changes irreversible. So according to US researchers, up to 53% of Americans in 2020, they used to loan or borrow money from family and friends. So these peer-to-peer money transfers, they became more and more common, and the younger the age of the people, the more likely them to avoid the banking system and to use this peer-to-peer financing. But we think that the current e-commerce and banking system is not ready for this peer-to-peer funding of any kind of purchases. So if we're talking about the shopping and e-commerce, it's completely not ready for this current trend. For example, we still struggle to split bills in the majority of e-commerce shops, and even some offline stores that still struggle to split bills. If you want your family or your friends to help somehow with the purchases of any expensive goods, you usually have to use either P2P transactions, which are not enough transparent for these purposes and solely based on the trust, or you run something like GoFundMe campaign for the birthday gifts and so on, which is too bulky and too inconvenient for day-to-day purchases. So, and we are offering the alternative for this system. It's called STEEP. It's smart technology for invoicing and payments. Our project consists of two parts. The first part is the API-based core technology, which allows the flexible management of payments, and the second part is the application for running these operations. So the smart technology actually allows you to do three basic things. The first one, you can split invoices between different sources of payment, whether it's your different cards or it's your payment and the payment of someone from your family who is willing to help you with some purchases. The second basic thing is you can split these invoices in time for flexible money accumulation, for installment purchases, and so on. And the third stuff is you can create the basic smart contracts for purchases. For example, you can order something without completely paying for this and list it on the wish list on the internet. And as soon as all the money is accumulated, it will be purchased automatically and shipped to your exact address. So this technology...
I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, we will need to cut you because we don't have any much time. But like, thank you so much.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. So we are open to questions. Campbell?
Yeah,
Please.
maybe you could just continue. What is the technology behind this? So you mentioned smart contract. So what is your layer one?
The technology is the proprietary technology for managing finances. So it's basically the splitting the payments in time and between different sources. The smart contract part of this technology is made on the API integration with merchants. The function of the smart contract is to send the information for the merchant that all the money for the exact purchase is collected.
So this has nothing to do with DeFi. You're just using the traditional banking system, correct?
No, it's not DeFi. In the core, we can work with the cryptocurrencies, so it's not dependent on either it's fiat money or cryptocurrencies. We can both work with them, but we need the bridges to connect with cryptocurrencies.
Perfect. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Kathleen?
Hi, I just want to ask, because splitting the bill is quite common nowadays, like banks can do that too. So how are you going to describe the situation in terms of these payment processing? How are you going to be different from them?
You see, usually when banks split the bills, they do it in the given moment of time. So they usually cannot do it both in between different sources and in time. So they cannot split and make the installment. It's the first stuff. The second stuff, they usually do it exactly for the offline stores, but they are not so oftenly supported for online stores.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. So it seems we don't have any other questions, and now.
Yes. So our judges are taking the time to mark all the projects, and in the meanwhile, we have already marked from the Harvey, from Gajavanka, Caitlin is scoring the last project, and I just need scores from Michelle, and we'll be ready to announce the winner. In the meanwhile, while we're waiting for Michelle to score, so maybe judges can provide the feedback. Who was the project of the favorite?
Can you just clarify the scoring system? Is one like good or
one
bad?
The worst?
Okay.
One is bad. 5 is good.
Okay, that's a good idea to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that how you rate it, or you?
No, I did it correctly.
Okay, got it. So what was your favorite project, Cam? The scores would not be shared. Yeah, it's all in private.
It was a tough call, and everybody did a great job presenting. So it was really a marginal call. But the project that I was the most excited about was Arena Master. And I do think that space is just ripe for a lot of growth. And even if this doesn't work out, they're going to be acquired. So I think that if I was choosing just one, that would be it. But again, many of them very high quality.
All right. And I can see that all the marks have been submitted, and we actually have a draw right now. I'm gonna close the voting. If judges want to change anything, you have like last second, because I'm closing the event, and the results would be populated on the web page. So we have 2 winners, Arena Master and Dollar Finance. they got the highest rating. And then we have a third project. Or actually, we have 2 first places, Dollar Finance and Arena Master, sharing the same amount of marks. Rubik comes the second with the margin call. The third place is taken by choice. So congratulations to the winners, and I'm gonna announce that 2 projects will go to finals, to the pitch session that is happening tomorrow. We'll provide you the details, and you'll be pitching at the finals for US for FinTech. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure hearing the feedback from judges, hearing your pitches. You are free to shoot an email to the project, to the judges. I will share the details of the projects if you want to follow up, questions. For the rest, I wish you a successful fundraising and hope to stay in touch with you and with the Startup Network. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you everybody for your time.
I would love to connect with other founders.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sergey,
Thank
for
you.
making it happen, and I'm looking forward to the next one,
Thank you,
especially ones
Gaja.
with the FinTech. You're welcome, my friend.
Thanks everyone, and thanks Sergey and Katya. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, people.
Thanks.
Bye, Professor Campbell.
Thank you.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.